Hello, my name is John Paul Farahat, and I'm very happy to be here for the Royal Canadian College of Organists Organist Launchpad series to discuss with you the role of organ accompaniment in the Catholic tradition. This is a topic that's very near and dear to me for a number of reasons, but perhaps most importantly, because it's something that I live every day. I'm the Director of Music and Principal Organist of St. Basil's Catholic Parish at the University of St. Michael's College. And St. Michael's is, of course, a part of the much larger community of the University of Toronto. So it's a very broad environment where we have students, we have educators, we have staff, and we have parishioners from all over Toronto who come to St. Basil's. The instrument is just over 100 years old, a 3-manual cassavant. We have 2 choirs, 5 sung masses on a weekend, 2 said masses every weekday, 2 organists, including myself, as well as a musician in residence. So it's a very busy and active place. In addition to this, I teach organ and piano at St. Michael's Choir School, which is, in essence, the choir school for St. Michael's Cathedral Basilica in Toronto. So the choir boys at the school provide the music for all of the weekend masses and on many occasions for weekday liturgies. In addition to this, I play for the late Sunday evening Mass at St. Michael's Cathedral Basilica. And in fact, I was a choir boy there once myself. So I got to see and experience the application of repertoire in a church setting live. Finally, most recently and perhaps most importantly for me, is my doctoral research from a few years ago concerning the life, composition, and improvisations of the late Swiss-Canadian organist Victor Tagny, born in 1935 and died in 1965. And why it's relevant to this topic is because Tagny himself was very passionate about the role of music in a Catholic setting. So much so that when he died, he had been in the process of writing a book on how to improvise for use in Catholic liturgical settings. So for him, he felt that the gateway to be able to elevate music in a Catholic setting was through improvisation. We will speak about a variety of different topics today. And of course, an important thing to note is that this is my perspective. This is not the only perspective. You will find that there are many wonderful ways to be able to make music beautiful in a Catholic setting. So I hope that you find this helpful in your own application, in your own church setting. Now, of course, when we speak, we're going to be talking about mainly Mass. However, a lot of this is applicable in different settings. So it could be Mass on weekends, it could be weddings, it could be funerals, it could be baptisms, it could be confirmations, it could be reconciliation services, prayer services, Vespers. So I hope that you find creative ways to apply some of these things in your own work. During this video series, we'll look at 4 topics. The first of these will be kind of thinking broadly about the role of an organist in a Catholic setting. So kind of a broad strokes, broad ideas about what it means to provide services in that particular environment. We'll look at Gregorian chant and hymn playing. We'll look at cantor accompaniment, and then of course we'll look at prelude and postlude planning. The role of an organist in a Catholic setting, I think, is a very important question. You know, what does it mean? What does it entail? What are its practical applications? When you are an organist in a Catholic church, are you the musical leader? Are you the accompanist? Are you the soloist? You know, at different times, you might fulfill different roles. You know, you might have to inhabit 2 or 3 of those roles simultaneously to be able to achieve an objective. So, for example, you may play preludes and postludes, and that will be perhaps the most independent form of music making, but then you accompany the cantor, and you lead the congregation. And in those 3 instances, you are inhabiting different roles. Now, the role of the liturgical organist and how you approach it has practical applications, I believe, in performance and pedagogy. For hymns, Mass propers, and ordinaries. So hymns, I think it's obvious what I'm referencing. With regards to Mass propers, let's say if you do the entrance antiphon or you do the communion antiphon, or the sung psalm, and then the ordinary, of course, the Gloria, the Kyrie, the Sanctus, the Agnus. You essentially are playing the music, you are, for lack of a clearer term, you are performing the music and simultaneously teaching the congregation in real time. For cantor-led portions, you accompany and guide simultaneously, so perhaps you take less of a direct role in seeing how the music plays out, and instead you are merely guiding the cantor. And in preludes and postludes, we have the most clear example of independent music making. But I think as we think of these three things then, we need to consider what differentiates music in a religious setting. So take, for example, if you are running choir rehearsal on a Thursday with the parish choir. So you have with you a group of people who have come together specifically for the purpose of making music. Now, they almost definitely are also there because of the community life that you have built. They are almost definitely also there because they have friends in the group. So there are multiple elements, but without the music itself, the event doesn't actually take place, right? The rehearsal is predicated on music making. And what's more is that if you consider the makeup of the group, these are individuals who either can read notes, or they're individuals who are very good at learning by rote, or they're individuals who can pitch match well enough to be able to form a cohesive sound with the rest of the group. Sometimes it's all three, sometimes it's two of the three. But the reality is that this forms then a sort of barrier. And so those who are able to reach that stage, who can, learn the notes and then sing them again a few days later, they form a very tight-knit community and a group of people that is very specific, very unique, and that is different than what you see in a broader church setting. The same thing is true for a concert. When people go to a concert, they're there specifically for the music. If there is no music, there is no event. When we look at a religious event, when we look at a religious prayer service, such as, Sunday Mass, it's important to consider that the people that are there represent a broad cross-section of everyday life. Some of those people will be able to read notes. Some of those people will be able to learn things by rote. Some of those people may or may not have the ability to pitch match easily, and some people may just generally feel neutral about the musical experience altogether. And so the reality is that you need to then enter into this very diverse setting, into this very beautiful setting in this large community, and find ways to make the music a part of their worship service. When it works, it's transcendent. It is, of course, a make or break portion of church life for many people. I've heard on countless occasions from people who will say that they've picked a particular church community because of the music, because of the homilies, because of the community members that they met. So know that your role is vitally important to the community that you are a part of. And at the same time, know that the role that it plays contributes to the central purpose, and that central purpose is the worship of that community. You have a remarkable role. You have quite a lot that you can do to influence people's ability to worship together. Every musical decision that you make can help to build that up. So the role of the organist in a Catholic setting is not just to accompany. It's to be the musical leader. It's to be the accompanist. It's to be the soloist, and to bring that community together. Thank you for being here for this portion of the Organist Launchpad series, and I look forward to seeing you for the next segment.